Welcome back to the Bible in 90 Days. We're on day 58. I was supposed to put out a review yesterday, which is today for me. But I want to let you know, I want to tell you I'm sorry, and that I will do that tomorrow to the best of my ability. I had a problem today. I had a water line leak outside the yard today, and I had to fix that. And that ate up all my time. And it'll, you know what? And thinking about it, I think we're better off doing it. Look for it today. It's going to be today that I'll put this out. But it'll be a review, and we're just going to focus on Isaiah and Jeremiah, and I'll kind of just spend that time talking about these two prophecies and how they unfolded and how they and what they mean to us, and how, and where exactly they fit in the Bible story. So, if you remember our reading from yesterday, Jeremiah has seen the destruction of Jerusalem. He saw all the things that God was warning him to warn the people about this whole time has happened. It's come true, and they've left the poor people, and God had, and not God, Nebuchadnezzar had set up a governor, and a rebellion came against him, and they killed him, and they killed some of Nebuchadnezzar's men. So they're expecting Nebuchadnezzar to come back and just wipe everybody out, and rightly so. But they go to Jeremiah, and they ask him to inquire of the Lord about what they should do. And Jeremiah does, and they waited for him to come back with the word from the Lord. And when he told them not to go to Jerusalem or to Egypt like they wanted to, like they knew they would, he told them just to stay, and that everything would kind of be okay. It's not like it's going to be okay, but they didn't stay, and they ended up fleeing and taking Jeremiah with them to Jerusalem. Or no, I keep saying Jerusalem. I got Jerusalem on my mind. Egypt. They fled to Egypt. And then when they got to Egypt, the Lord gave a word to Jeremiah telling them that since they had not listened to the prophet, that then they had gone, that Babylon was going to come to Egypt. I hope that brings some fear into their bones, but that they never had listened to Jeremiah, and it's not like they're about to start now. So today we're reading from 45 to 51. There will be one chapter left over, and you know what? If it seems short enough, I might just go ahead and read it. That way we're done with. That way we're done with Jeremiah. Let me look at this real quickly. Tell you what we're going to do in the beginning instead of at the end. Yeah, it's a little over a page. I'll probably go ahead and read that, and we'll include 52. That way we'll be done with Jeremiah today, and tomorrow we'll read Lamentations, which is by Jeremiah. So, and I've got to put out another a video. Let me write that down. A video. That'll remind me. Put out a Bible Project video for Lamentations tomorrow as well. Alrighty, so let's begin reading in chapter 45. 45 is a pretty small chapter. Might be one of the smallest chapters in the Bible. When Baruch, son of Neriah, woke up on the scroll, wrote on a scroll the words of Jeremiah the prophet, dictated in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, son of Josiah. Now you remember Jehoiakim is in Babylon. He got carried away. He is still the king. Now Zebulun was the king that they gouged his eyes out, and he is being dragged to Babylon. He was the king that in the lineage of David, but he was the king that Nebuchadnezzar had set up when they had left. So Jehoiakim is still the king. This is still the reign of Jehoiakim. son of Josiah, king of Judah, Jeremiah said this to Baruch. This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says to you, Baruch. You said, Woe to me! The Lord has added sorrow to my pain. I am worn out with groaning and find no rest. But the Lord has told me to say to you, This is what the Lord says. I will overthrow what I have built and uproot what I have planted throughout the earth. Should you then seek great things for yourself? Do not seek them, for I will bring disaster on all people, declares the Lord. But wherever I go, I will let you escape with your life. Chapter 46. This is the word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah the prophet concerning the nations, concerning Egypt. This is the message against the army of Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, which was defeated at Carchemish on the Euphrates River by Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, son of Josiah, king of Judah. Okay. So I was wrong about what I was telling you about Jehoiakim. Now, this Jehoiakim was the son of Josiah, and he was the king during that time. But we're talking about time past. We're talking about in the 4th year. So I was just a little. I'm not too proud to admit when I'm wrong about something. I was wrong about that. Prepare your shields, both large and small, and march out for battle. Harness the horses, mount the steeds. Take up your positions with helmets on. Polish your spears. Put on your armor. What do I see? They're terrified. They're retreating. Their warriors are defeated. They flee in haste without looking back. And there is terror on every side, declares the Lord. Verse 6. The swift cannot flee, nor the strong escape. In the north by the Euphrates River they stumble and fall. Who is this that arises like the Nile, like rivers of surging waters? Egypt rises like the Nile, like rivers of surging waters. She says, I will rise and cover the earth. I will destroy cities and their people. Charge, you horses. Drive furiously, you charioteers. March on, you warriors, men of Cush. And put, who carries shields, men of Lydia, who draw the bow. But that day belongs to the Lord Almighty, a day of vengeance, for vengeance on his foes. The sword will devour until it is satisfied, till it has quenched its thirst with blood. For the Lord, the Lord Almighty, will offer sacrifice in the land of the north by the river Euphrates. Verse 11. Go up to Gilead and get balm, virgin daughter Egypt. But you try many medicines in vain, for there is no healing for you. The nations will hear of your shame. Your cries will fill the earth. One warrior will stumble over another. Both will fall down together. Verse 13. This is the message the Lord spoke to Jeremiah the prophet about the coming of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, to attack Egypt. Announce this in Egypt and proclaim it in Migdol. Proclaim it also in Memphis and Tahpanhes. Take your positions and get ready, for the sword devours those around you. Will your warriors be laid low? They cannot stand, for the Lord will push them down. They will stumble repeatedly. They will fall over each other. They will say, Get up! Let us go back to our own people and our native lands, away from the sword of the oppressor. There they will exclaim, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, is only a loud noise. He has missed his opportunity. As surely as I live, declares the king, whose name is the Lord Almighty, one will come up who is like Tabor among the mountains, like Carmel by the sea. Pack your belongings for exile, you who live in Egypt, for Memphis will be laid waste, and lie in ruins without inhabitant. Verse 20. Egypt is a beautiful heifer, but a gadfly is coming against her from the north. The mercenaries in her ranks are like fattened calves. They too will turn and flee together, and they will not stand their ground. For the day of disaster is coming upon them, the time for them to be punished. Egypt will hiss like a fleeing serpent as the enemy advances in force. They will come against her with axes like men who cut down trees. They will chop down her forest, declares the Lord. Dense though it be, they are more numerous than locusts. They cannot be counted. Daughter Egypt will be put to shame, given into the hands of the people of the north. The Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says, I am about to bring punishment on Ammon, god of Thebes, on Pharaoh, on Egypt and her gods, and her kings, and on those who rely on Pharaoh. I will give them into the hands of those who want to kill them, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and his officers. Later, however, Egypt will be inhabited, as in past times, declares the Lord. Verse 27. Do not be afraid, Jacob, my servant. Do not be dismayed, Israel. I will surely save you out of a distant place, your descendants from the land of their exile. Jacob will again have peace and security, and no one will make him afraid. Do not be afraid, Jacob, my servant, for I am with you, declares the Lord. Though I completely destroy all the nations among which I scatter you, I will not completely destroy you. I will discipline you, but only in due measure. I will not let you go entirely unpunished. Chapter 47. This is the word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah the prophet concerning the Philistines, before Pharaoh attacked Gaza. This is what the Lord says. See how the waters are rising in the north? They will become an overflowing torrent. They will overflow the land and everything in it, the towns and those who live in them. The people will cry out. All who dwell in the land will wail, and the sound of hooves galloping steeds, and the noise of enemy chariots, and the rumble of their wheels. Parents will not turn to help their children. Their hands will hang limp. For the day has come to destroy all the Philistines, to remove all survivors, and to remove all survivors who could help Tyre and Sidon. The Lord is about to destroy the Philistines. The remnant from the coasts of Caphtor, Gaza, will shave her head in mourning. Ashkelon will be silenced. You remnant on the plain, how long will you cut yourselves? Alas, sword of the Lord, how long till you rest? Return to your sheath, cease and be still. But how can I rest when the Lord has commanded it, when he has ordered it to attack Ashkelon and the coast? Chapter 48. Concerning Moab. This is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says. Woe to Nebo, for it will be ruined. Kiriathaim will be disgraced and captured. The stronghold will be disgraced and shattered. Moab will be praised no more. In Heshbon the people will plot her downfall. Come, let us put an end to that nation. The people of madmen, will also be silenced. The Lord will pursue you. The sword will pursue you, The cries of anguish arise from Honoraim, cries of great havoc and destruction. Moab will be broken. Her little ones will cry out. They go up the hill to Luhith, weeping bitterly as they go, on the road down to Honoraim. And anguished cries over the destruction. Anguished cries over the destruction are heard. Flee, run for your lives, become like a bush in the desert. Since you trust in your deeds and riches, You too will be taken captive, and Chemosh will go into exile, together with his priests and officials. The destroyer will come against every town, and not a town will escape. The valley will be ruined, and the plateau destroyed, because the Lord has spoken. Put salt on Moab, for she will be laid waste. Her towns will become desolate, with no one to live in them. A curse on anyone who is lax in doing the Lord's work. A curse on anyone who keeps their sword from bloodshed. Verse 11. Moab has been at rest from youth, like wine left on its dregs, not poured from one jar to another. She has not gone into exile, so she tastes as she did, and her aroma is unchanged. But days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will send men who pour from pitchers, and they will pour her out. They will empty her pitchers and smash her jars. Then Moab will be ashamed of Chemosh, as Israel was ashamed when they trusted in Bethel. How can you say we are warriors, men valiant in battle? Moab will be destroyed and her towns invaded. Her finest young men will go down in the slaughter, declares the King, whose name is the Lord Almighty. 16. The fall of Moab is at hand. Her calamity will come quickly. Mourn for her, all you live around her, all who know her fame. Say, how broken is the mighty scepter, how broken the glorious staff. 18. Come down from your glory and sit on the parched ground, you inhabitants of daughter Dibon. For the one who destroys Moab will come up against you and ruin your fortified cities. Stand by the road and watch, you who live in Aror. Ask the man fleeing and the woman escaping. Ask them, what has happened? Moab is disgraced, for she is shattered. Wail and cry out. Announce by the Arnon, that Moab is destroyed. Judgment has come to the plateau, Holon, Jaza, and Mephath, to Dibon, Nebo, and Beth Diblathaim, to Kiriathaim, Beth Gamul, and Beth Meon, to Kerioth and Bozrah, to all the towns of Moab, far and near. Moab's horn is cut off, her arm is broken, declares the Lord. Make her drunk, for she has defiled the Lord. Let Moab wallow in her vomit. Let her be an object of ridicule. Was not Israel the object of your ridicule? Was she caught among thieves, that you shake your head in scorn whenever you speak of her? Abandon your towns and dwell among the rocks, you who live in Moab. Be like a dove that makes its nest at the mouth of a cave. We have heard of Moab's pride. How great is her arrogance, of her insolence, her pride, her conceit, and the haughtiness of her heart. I know her insolence, but it is futile, declares the Lord, and her boasts accomplish nothing. Therefore I wail over Moab. For all Moab I cry out. I moan for the people of Kir Hareseth. I weep for you as Jazer weeps, you vines of Sibmah. Your branches spread as far as the sea, and they reach as far as Jazer. The destroyer has fallen on your ripened fruit and grapes. Joy and gladness are gone from the orchards and the fields of Moab. I have stopped the flow of wine from the presses. No one treads them with shouts of joy. Although there are shouts, they are not shouts of joy. 24. Damascus has become feeble. She has turned to flee, and panic has gripped her. Anguish and pain have seized her, pain like that of a woman in labor. Why has the city of renown not been abandoned? The town in which I delight. Surely her young men will fall in the streets. All her soldiers will be silenced in that day, declares the Lord Almighty. I will set fire to the walls of Damascus. It will consume the forests of Ben-Hadad. 28. Concerning Kedar and the kingdoms of Hazor, which Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon attacked, this is what the Lord says: Arise and attack Kedar, and destroy the people of the east. Their tents and their flocks will be taken, their shelters will be carried off, and all their goods and camels. People will shout to them, Terror on every side! Flee quickly away, stay in deep caves, you who live in Hazor, declares the Lord. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, has plotted against you. He has devised a plan against you. Arise and attack a nation at ease, which lives in confidence, declares the Lord. A nation that has neither gates nor bars. Its people live far from danger. Their camels will become plunder, and their large herds will be spoils of war. I will scatter to the winds those who are in distant places. I will bring disaster on them from every side, declares the Lord. Hazor will become a haunt of jackals, a desolate place forever. No one will live there, no people will dwell in it. 34. This is the word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah the prophet concerning Elam, early in the reign of Zedekiah, king of Judah. This is what the Lord Almighty says. See, I will break the bow of Elam, the mainstay of their might. I will bring against Elam the four winds from the four quarters of heaven. I will scatter them to the four winds, and there will not be a nation where Elam's exiles do not go. I will shatter Elam before their foes, before those who want to kill them. I will bring disaster on them, even my fierce anger, declares the Lord. I will pursue them with the sword until I have made an end of them. I will set my throne in Elam and destroy her king and officials, declares the Lord. Yet I will restore the fortunes of Elam in days to come, declares the Lord. Chapter 50. This is the word the Lord spoke through Jeremiah the prophet concerning Babylon and the land of the Babylonians. Announce and proclaim among the nations. Lift up a banner and proclaim it, keeping nothing back, but say, Babylon will be captured. Bel will be put to shame. Marduk filled with terror. Her images will be put to shame, and her idols filled with terror. A nation from the north will attack her, and lay waste her land. No one will live in it. Both people and animals will flee away. In those days, at that time, declares the Lord, the people of Israel and the people of Judah together will go in tears to seek the Lord their God. They will ask the way to Zion and turn their faces toward it. They will come and bind themselves to the Lord in an everlasting covenant that will not be forgotten. My people, verse 6, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have led them astray and caused them to roam on the mountains. They have wandered over mountain and hill and forgot their own resting place. Whoever found them devoured them. Their enemies said, We are not guilty, for they sinned against the Lord their verdant pleasure. The Lord, the hope of their ancestors. Verse 8, Flee out of Babylon. Leave the land of the Babylonians, and be like the goats that lead the flock. For I will stir up and bring against Babylon an alliance of great nations from the land of the north. They will take up their positions against her, and from the north she will be captured. Their arrows will be like skilled warriors who do not return empty-handed. So Babylonia will be plundered. All who plunder her will have their fill, declares the Lord. Verse 11. Because you rejoice and are glad, you who pillage my inheritance, because you frolic like a heifer threshing grain, and neigh like stallions, your mother will be greatly ashamed. She who gave birth to you will be disgraced. She will be the least of the nations, a wilderness, a dry land, a desert. Because of the Lord's anger, she will not be inhabited, but will be completely desolate. All who pass Babylon will be appalled. They will scoff because of all of her wounds. Take up your positions around Babylon, all you who draw the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Lord. Shout against her on every side. She surrenders, her towers fall, her walls are torn down. Since this is the vengeance of the Lord, take vengeance on her. Do to her as she has done to others. Cut off from Babylon the sower and the reaper with his sickle at harvest. Because of the sword of the oppressor, let everyone return to their own people. Let everyone flee to their own land. 17. Israel is a scattered flock that lions have chased away. The first to devour them was the king of Assyria. The last to crush their bones was Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. 18. Therefore this is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says. I will punish the king of Babylon and his land, as I punished the king of Assyria. But I will bring Israel back in their own pasture, and they will graze on Carmel and Bashan. Their appetite will be satisfied on the hills of Ephraim and Gilead. In those days, at that time, declares the Lord, search will be made for Israel's guilt, but there will be none. For the sins of Judah, but none will be found. For I will give the remnant. For I will forgive the remnant I spare. Pages. Kind of like new technology, scrolling stuff. It's a little easier than changing pages. Verse 21. Attack the land of Merathaim and those who live in Pikdad. Pursue and kill completely completely destroy them, declares the Lord. Do everything I have commanded you. The noise of battle is in the land, the noise of great destruction. How broken and shattered is the hammer of the whole earth. How desolate is Babylon among the nations. I set a trap for you, Babylon, and you were caught before you knew it. You were found and captured because you opposed the Lord. The Lord has opened his arsenal and brought out the weapons of his wrath. For the sovereign Lord Almighty has work to do in the land of the Babylonians. Come against her from afar, break open her granaries, pile her up like heaps of grain, completely destroy her, and leave no remnant. Kill all of her young bulls. Let them go down to the slaughter. Woe to them, for their day has come, the time for them to be punished. Listen to the fugitives and refugees from Babylon, declaring in Zion how the Lord your God has taken vengeance for his temple. Summon archers against Babylon, all those who draw the bow, and camp all around her. Let no one escape. Repay her for her deeds. Do to her as she has done, for she has defied the Lord, the Holy One of Israel. Therefore her young men will fall in the streets. All her soldiers will be silenced in that day, declares the Lord. 31. See, I am against you, you arrogant one, declares the Lord Almighty. For your day has come, the time for you to be punished. The arrogant one will stumble and fall, and no one will help her up. I will kindle a fire in her towns that will consume all who are around her. This is what the Lord Almighty says. The people of Israel are oppressed, and the people of Judah as well. All their captors hold them fast, refusing to let them go. Yet their Redeemer is strong. The Lord Almighty is his name. He will vigorously defend their cause, so that he may bring rest to their land, but unrest to those who live in Babylon. 35. A sword against the Babylonians, declares the Lord, against those who live in Babylon, against her officials and wise men. The Lord. A sword against her false prophets, and they will become fools. They will become fools. A sword against her warriors, they will be filled with terror. 37. A sword against her horses and chariots, and all the foreigners in her ranks. they will become weaklings. A sword against her treasures, they will be plundered. A drought on her waters, they will dry up. For it is a land of idols, idols that will go mad with terror. 39. So desert creatures and hyenas will live there, and there the owl will dwell. It will never again be inhabited, or lived from generation to generation. As I overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, along with their neighboring towns, declares the Lord, so no one will live there, no people will dwell in it. Look, an army is coming from the north, a great nation and many kings are being stirred up from the ends of the earth. They are armed with bows and spears. They are cruel and without mercy. They sound like the roaring sea as they ride on their horses. They come like men in battle formation to attack you, daughter Babylon. The king of Babylon has heard reports about them, and his hands hang limp. Anguish has gripped him, pain like that of a woman in labor, like a lion coming up from Jordan's thickets to a rich pasture land. I will chase Babylon from its land in an instant. Who is the chosen one I will appoint for this? Who is like me and can challenge me? And what shepherd can stand against me? Verse 45. Therefore hear the word that the Lord has planned against Babylon, what he has purposed against the land of the Babylonians. The young of the flock will be dragged away. Their pasture will be appalled at their fate. At the sound of the Babylonians' capture, the earth will tremble. Its cry will resound among the nations. Chapter 51. This is what the Lord says. See, I will stir up the spirit of a destroyer against Babylon and the people of Leb Kamai. I will send foreigners to Babylon to winnow her and to devastate her land. They will oppose her on every side. In the day of her disaster, let not the archer string his bow, nor let him put on his armor. Do not spare her young men. Completely destroy her army. They will fall down, slain in Babylon, fatally wounded in her streets. For Israel and Judah have not been forsaken by their God, the Lord Almighty, though their land is full of guilt, before the Holy One of Israel. Verse 6. Flee from Babylon, run for your lives, do not be destroyed because of her sins. It is time for the Lord's vengeance. He will repay her what she deserves. Babylon was a gold cup in the Lord's hand. She made the whole earth drunk. The nations drank her wine. Therefore they have now gone mad. Babylon will suddenly fall and be broken. Wail over her. Get balm for her pain. Perhaps she can be healed. Verse 9. We would have healed Babylon, but she cannot be healed. Let us leave her, each go to our own land, for her judgment reaches the skies, and it rises as high as the heavens. The Lord has vindicated us. Come, let us tell in Zion what the Lord our God has done. Verse 11. Sharpen the arrows, take up the shields. The Lord has stirred up the kings of the Medes, because his purpose is to destroy Babylon. The Lord will take vengeance for his temple. Lift up a banner against the walls of Babylon. Reinforce the guard. Station the watchman. Prepare an ambush. The Lord will carry out his purpose, his decree against the people of Babylon. 13. You who live by many waters and are rich in treasures, your end has come, the time for you to be destroyed. The Lord Almighty has sworn by himself. I will surely fill you with troops and with a swarm of locusts, and they will shout in triumph over you. He made the earth by his power. He founded the world by his wisdom, and stretched out the heavens by his understanding. When he thunders, the waters in the heavens roar. He makes clouds rise from the ends of the earth. He sends lightning with the rain and brings out the wind from his storehouses. Everyone is senseless and without knowledge. Every goldsmith is shamed by his idols. The images he makes are a fraud. They have no breath in them. They are worthless, the objects of mockery. When their judgment comes, they will perish. He who is the portion of Jacob is not like these, for he is the maker of all things, including the people of his inheritance. The Lord Almighty is his name. 20. You are my war club, my weapon for battle. With you I shatter nations. With you I destroy kingdoms. With you I shatter the horse and the rider. With you I shatter the chariot and driver. With you I shatter man and woman. With you I shatter old man and youth. With you I shatter young men and young women. With you I shatter shepherd and flock. With you I shatter farmer and oxen. With you I shatter governors and officials. Before your eyes I will repay Babylon, and all who live in Babylonia for all the wrong they have done in Zion, declares the Lord. 25. I am against you, you destroying mountain, who destroy the whole earth, declares the Lord. I will stretch out my hand against you, roll you off the cliffs, to make you a burned out mountain. No rock will be taken from you for a cornerstone, nor any stone for a foundation, for you will be desolate forever, declares the Lord. 27. Lift up a banner in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations for battle against her. Summon against her these kingdoms, Ararat, Minnai, and Ashkenaz. Appoint a commander against her. Send up horses like a swarm of locusts. Prepare the nations for battle against her, the kings of the Medes, their governors and all their officials, and all the countries they rule. The land trembles and writhes, for the Lord's purpose against Babylon stands, to lay waste to the land of Babylon, so that no one will live there. Babylon's warriors have stopped fighting. They remain in their strongholds. Their strength is exhausted. They have become weaklings. Her dwellings are set on fire. The bars of her gates are broken. One courier follows another, and messenger follows messenger, to announce to the kingdom of Babylon, to the king of Babylon, that his entire city is captured, the river crossing seized, and the marshes set on fire, and the soldiers terrified. 33. This is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says. Daughter Babylon is like a threshing floor at the time it is trampled. The time to harvest her will soon come. 34. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, has devoured us. He has thrown us into confusion. He has made us an empty jar. Like a serpent, he has swallowed us and defiled and filled his stomach with our delicacies, and then has spewed us out. May the violence be done to our flesh beyond Babylon, say the inhabitants of Zion. May our blood be on those who live in Babylonia, says Jerusalem. 36. Therefore, this is what the Lord says. See, I will defend your cause and avenge you. I will dry up her sea and make her springs dry. Babylonia will be a heap of ruins, a haunt of jackals, an object of horror and scorn, a place where no one lives. Her people all roar like young lions. They growl like lion cubs. But while they are aroused, I will send out a feast for them, and make them drunk, so that they will shout with laughter, and then sleep forever and not awake, declares the Lord. Verse 40. I will bring them down like lambs to the slaughter, like rams and goats. How Shishak will be captured, the boast of the whole earth seized. How desolate Babylon will be among the nations. The sea will rise over Babylon, its roaring waves will cover her. Her towns will be desolate, a dry and desert land, a land where no one lives. through which no one travels. I will punish Bel in Babylon, and make him spew out what he has swallowed. The nations will no longer stream to him, and the wall of Babylon will fall. Verse 45. Come out of her, my people. Run for your lives. Run from the fierce anger of the Lord. Do not lose heart or be afraid when rumors are heard in the land. One rumor comes this year, another the next. Rumors of violence in the land, and the ruler against her, and of ruler against ruler. For the time will surely come when I will punish the idols of Babylon. Her whole land will be disgraced, and her slain will all lie fallen within her. Then heaven and earth and all that is in them will shout for joy over Babylon, for out of the north destroyers will attack her, declares the Lord. 49. Babylon must fall because of Israel's slain, just as the slain in all the earth have fallen because of Babylon. You who have escaped the sword, leave and do not linger. Remember the Lord in a distant land, and call to mind Jerusalem. 51. We are disgraced, for we have been insulted, and shame covers our faces, because foreigners have entered the holy places of the Lord's house. 52. But days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will punish her idols, and throughout her land the wounded will groan. Even if Babylon ascends to the heavens, and fortifies her lofty stronghold, I will send destroyers against her, declares the Lord. The sound of a cry comes from Babylon, the sound of great destruction from the land of the Babylonians. The Lord will destroy Babylon. He will silence her noisy din. Waves of enemies will rage like great waters. The roar of their voices will resound. A destroyer will come against Babylon. Her warriors will be captured, and their bows will be broken. For the Lord is a God of retribution. He will repay in full. I will make her officials and wise men drunk, her governors, officers, and warriors as well. They will sleep forever and not wake, declares the King, whose name is the Lord Almighty. This is what the Lord Almighty says. Babylon's thick wall will be leveled, and her high gates set on fire. The peoples exhaust themselves for nothing. The nations' labor is only fuel for the flames. 59. This is the message Jeremiah the prophet gave to the staff officer Siriah, son of Neriah, the son of Maaseiah, when he went to Babylon with Zedekiah, king of Judah, in the 4th year of his reign. Jeremiah had written on a scroll about all the disasters that would come upon Babylon, and all that had been recorded concerning Babylon. He said to Siriah, when you get to Babylon, see that you read all these words aloud. Then say, the Lord, you have said you will destroy this place so that neither people nor animals will live in it. It will be desolate forever. When you finish reading this scroll, tie a stone to it and throw it into the Euphrates. Then say, so will Babylon sink to rise no more, because of the disaster I will bring on her, and her people will fall. The words of Jeremiah end here. Chapter 52. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 11 years. His mother's name was Hamutal, daughter of Jeremiah. She was from Libnah. He did evil in the eyes of the Lord, just as Jehoiakim had done. It was because of the Lord's anger and that all this happened in Jerusalem and Judah. In the end, he thrust them from his presence. Now Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. So in the 9th year of Zedekiah's reign, on the 10th day of the 10th month, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, marched against Jerusalem with his whole army. They encamped outside the city and built siege works all around it. The city was kept under siege until the 11th year of King Zedekiah. By the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine in the city had become so severe that there was no food for the people to eat. Then the city wall was broken through, and the whole army fled. They left the city at night through the gate between the two walls near the king's garden. Though the Babylonians were surrounding the city, they fled toward the Arabah. But the Babylonian army pursued King Zedekiah and overtook him in the plains of Jericho. All his soldiers were separated from him and scattered, and he was captured. He was taken to the king of Babylon at Riblah, in the hand of Hamath, where he pronounced sentence on him. There at Riblah, the king of Babylon killed the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes. He also killed all the officials of Judah. Then he put out Zedekiah's eyes, bound him with bronze shackles, and took him to Babylon, where he put him in prison until the day of his death. Verse 12. On the 10th day of the 5th month, in the 19th year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, Nebuzaradan, commander of the imperial guard, who served the king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem. He set fire to the temple of the Lord, the royal palace, and all the houses of Jerusalem. Every important building he burned down. The whole Babylonian army, under the commander of the imperial guard, broke down the wall around Jerusalem. Nebuzaradan, the commander of the guard, carried into exile some of the poorest people and those who remained in the city, along with the rest of the craftsmen, those who had deserted the king of Babylon. But Nebuzaradan left behind the rest of the poorest people of the land to work the vineyards and fields. 17. The Babylonians broke up the bronze pillars, the movable stands, and the bronze sea that were in the temple of the Lord, and carried all the bronze to Babylon. They also took away the pots, shovels, wick trimmers, sprinkling bowls, dishes, and and all the bronze articles used in the temple service. The commander of the imperial guard took away the basins, censers, sprinkling bowls, pots, lampstands, dishes, and bowls used for drink offerings, all that were made of pure gold or silver. Verse 20. The bronze from the 2 pillars, the sea among the 12 bronze bowls under it, and the movable stands which King Solomon had made for the temple of the Lord, was more than could be weighed. Each pillar was 18 cubits and 12 cubits in circumference. Each was 4 fingers thick and hollow. The bronze capital on top of one pillar was 5 cubits high, and was decorated with a network and pomegranates of bronze around all around. The other pillar with its pomegranates was similar. There were 96 pomegranates on the sides. The total number of pomegranates above the surrounding network was 100. The commander of the guard took as prisoners Siriah, the chief priests, Zephaniah, the priest next in rank, and the 3 doorkeepers. Of those still in the city, he took the officer in charge of the fighting men, and 7 royal advisers. He also took the secretary, who was the chief officer in charge of conscripting the people of the land, 60 of whom were found in the city. Nebuzaradan, the commander, took them all and brought them to the king of Babylon at Riblah. There at Riblah, in the land of Hamath, the king had them executed. So Judah went into captivity, away from her land. This is the number of the people Nebuchadnezzar carried into exile. In the 7th year, 3,023 Jews. In Nebuchadnezzar's 18th year, 832 people from Jerusalem. In his 23rd year, 745 Jews taken into exile by Nebuzaradan, the commander of the imperial guard. There were 4,600 people in all. Chapter 31, or verse 31, sorry, not chapter. In the 37th year of exile, Jehoiakim, king of Judah, and in the year of Awel Marduk, became king of Babylon. On the 25th day of the 12th month, he released Jehoiakim, king of Judah, and freed him from prison. He spoke kindly to him and gave him a seat of honor higher than those of the other kings who were with him in Babylon. So Jehoiakim put aside his prison clothes, and for the rest of his life ate regularly at the king's table. Day by day, the king of Babylon gave Jehoiakim a regular allowance as long as he lived, until the day of his death. Alrighty. Well, that's it for Jeremiah. We have read one more chapter than we were supposed to. And I wonder if I missed a page or something. Time was under and it should have been over. Well, if I missed a page, you read it on your own. No, I'll review the video here and make sure I haven't. And I'll cut it in if I have. Alrighty, guys. Well, y'all have a wonderful day. God bless you. Thank you for reading your Bible with me. We'll begin tomorrow in Lamentations, but later today, I will have a video of the review of Isaiah and Jeremiah. Y'all have a wonderful day. God bless you.